and that I have to admit that the video did not help. And my confession is that my goal in life is to eliminate guilt. And as an Irish Catholic boy, that gets more and more difficult. But the video made me feel guilty about all the things I don't know and that I'm not doing. And every morning I wake up and I check on all these accounts and I think I should be doing more, and I feel guilty about it. Our family owns a winery and I feel guilty every day that we're not doing more on social media. I have a book that's coming out in a month, and all I get are I get yelled at from the publisher about what I'm not doing in social media. My son just had a baby daughter a month ago, and I'm sure that he named his daughter based on URL availability of the name. So I am constantly feeling guilty about what I'm not doing in social media, and I think I do a lot. So I'm hoping that the panelists will make me feel better about how much I do and how much impact it's having on the world. And I appreciate all the mayors and former mayors and the mayor of Dublin and everybody involved. I am not even the mayor of my home. So I feel guilty about that too. So panels, you have all been on panels, you've all been participants on panels. My goal today is to try to keep this lively and to get it, bring up a little controversy if we need to. The first thing we're going to do though, so that you know who all the panelists are, is have them introduce themselves. As John said real quickly, I have been in the Valley for a long time. I'm very involved with Irish Technology Capital. I'm a former partner at Benrock, a big venture capital firm, and I've been an investor and an entrepreneur in the Valley for quite some time. So let's go down the murderer's row here. We'll start with Fergus down at the end. And Fergus, do you have something that you're going to show us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just placing the slide here.
Take it away, Fergus.
Great. Thanks very much. Great to be here, everyone. It's a really exciting time in social media in general. Just everything is just on the rise, and clean tech was the hot topic a few years ago, but really right now, social is just where it's at, and rightfully so, with everyone getting smartphones. And what we're focused on is one of the core opportunities in the mobile space, which is the mobile camera. When you think about like what are the big opportunities in mobile, it's the applications that people are going to use every day. So like email, calendar, music player, games, and the camera is one of the biggest ones. And the incumbents from the space, the online photo sharing companies, the camera companies, the thing that they lack is their knowledge of the social space. And that's where the opportunity really is making the camera more social. And so two applications that we have right now, one is called Clixtr, and that's all about event-based photo sharing. So sharing photos in real time with everyone else at an event and collaboratively sharing. And that's a patent-pending platform that we launched at TechCrunch 50. And it's all about collaborative photo sharing. And so then the Pic Balance product is a much more simple application initially. And it's the fastest to get your photos from your iPhone on Facebook and Twitter. It literally replaces your camera. And that one has over 1 million downloads, and that's what we're focused on building out right now. And we believe that we can build it out to be the killer mobile photography application, that the 4 billion people in the world that have cell phones right now are going to be using an application to take, edit, share, organize, and consume photos. And it's the biggest opportunity in the world right now. And so that's what we're focused on. Great. And so the company is called Focal Labs.
Great. Thanks, Fergus.
Hi. Thanks for having us here. My name is Philo. I'm here to talk about play, productive play, and it is my contention that play is really the key element for success, business success in social media. Productive play is something I know something about. That's my art car parked outside. I'm the one that brought demolition croquet to food camp. And I've produced about 50 interactive titles. My company, OnV Interactive, has done something that no one else has done. We have created an epic, massively multiplayer online game for adult women. And I'm going to show it to you a little later. But first I'm going to tell you briefly how we did that. First of all, we staffed up 2 years ago in the depths of a full-on smackdown session. Got 45 of the best developers in Silicon Valley. 40% of them are women, and they're led by Stacy Hirata, who made Guitar Hero the best-selling video game ever. That's ever. Now, back to the core concept of productive play, and why I think it's so important. Why do so many people spend so much time and energy doing things they're not paid for? Art, music, community theater, making cities in the Nevada desert, video games. Why do they do that? So much time and energy. And the reason they do is because they get feedback of achievement, of status, and of success. And that, believe it or not, releases chemicals in the brain that make you happy. And happiness is good. So is balance. It's productive play is not just a shallow diversion. It is actually the science behind fulfillment and addiction. Now, we have lots of types of productive play in V. As you can see, you can explore like Alice. You can succeed and share like Dorothy. And you can solve mysteries like Nancy. And in fact, it's a little demo of V here. In our game, you can actually level up with cocktails. You're welcome.
Nice.
So what we have is a casual yet immersive game in between the markets of World of Warcraft and Farmville. So it's very immersive, high-end 3D, vast world to explore without a steep learning curve. And when I say we're designed to appeal to women, it's not a pink world, okay? It's just not about fighting. The only combat in V is a pillow fight. V is about choice. So right now there are thousands of men and women enjoying V, and they're making choices on how to have fun. They're following quests to find out the mystery and the backstory of the island. They're clubbing and dancing and having cocktails, or they're socializing, or they're playing games in the casino. There's lots of things to do, and your choices define you. You're exhibiting your character, and that really gets you to the social connection and community and fun that is a basic human need. And that is where we get to social media. And it is, you need to embrace this concept authentically. Productive play is why gamification works, and as Kevin will tell you, it will only work if it's really fun, and by fun it has to engage. You want traction, you need to give your audience something where they can really play and achieve and have fun with. Thank you.
Okay, are you ready to follow that?
I will do my best.
We've only gone through 2 panelists. My head is about to explode already.
Okay, I'm not quite sure, maybe my slide didn't get in there, which is fine. So BunchBall is the name of the company, and all of the things that Philo just talked about, we help companies who want to utilize these tools to plug them into that user experience or consumer experience. Anybody here have a LinkedIn account? Okay. Any of you notice that little status bar when you first signed in and it said you're 50%, 55%? Did that motivate any of you to kind of get it up there to a certain point? And anybody ever notice when someone links in, or when they link into you, what's one of the first things you look at of them? Picture and how many connections they may have, right? Those are 2 game mechanics that are plugged into a very non-game situation. How do I measure against other people? And how am I succeeding? What progress am I making? One of the reasons why Farmville is extremely popular among that 25 to 45-year-old female demo is because when women are at home and they're raising the kids, they want to feel progress during the day. And when I know I've got 3 little ones at home and my wife at the end of the day, I come home and she doesn't feel like she made any progress with the kids, right? It's like, oh God, I just fell back a week. But if she planted some seeds and harvested them, there's progress being made. And that's one of the, and it's not, it's just, I need to feel that. And I think you probably, the Harvard Business Review article came out a month or two ago, that if you want to know if you had a happy day or not, if you talk about how much progress you made or didn't make, that is the #1 indicator of happy employees. It's not how much money, it's not even if your boss recognized you for it, it's if you made progress. So the points, the leaderboards, the badges, the news feeds, the avatars, the virtual spaces, all of those things are necessary to help improve and enhance that consumer, user, employee experience. And BunchBall has a platform that provides those tools to any company that is thinking about using that. And one final thing on the LinkedIn, you'll notice it's 500. Once you get to 500, does it do the numbers anymore? It just says 500 plus. And it's very important there because they were finding that if they just kept it going, people were trying to gather connections for the wrong reasons. So you have to use the mechanics in a way that is meaningful and builds toward the core business function that you're trying to accomplish. And BunchBall helps provide those tools.
Well, good afternoon. So my name is Charles Orlando, and I'm an author, Facebook personality, and a relationship expert. So what the hell am I doing up here? So I'll tell you. Just to give you some background, I come from 17 years of high-tech marketing and public relations work. I guess my claim to fame on that would be I was one of the original 50 at WebEx Communications. Brought them public as senior director of marketing, or I should say part of the team that helped bring them public. We were all there. But about 7 years ago, I kind of transitioned large pieces of my career, did a lot of personal introspection, personal growth. And as a result, I ended up researching a book, and if any men want to leave now, you can go ahead and do that. It's titled The Problem with Women is Men, based on, put your gun away, sir, thank you. It's based on 1,600 individual interviews I had with men and women around the challenges of long-term relationships and marriage. So I won't bore you with the book itself, but I will tell you that it's highly entertaining and engaging. When I went to get an agent and went to get a publisher, I ran into a lot of the same challenges that new authors run into, where it took me 9 months to find an agent. And when I finally got one drunk enough to take me on, I ended up in talks with a publisher who will remain nameless, Penguin Books. So they offered me this great deal of 10% residual, and of that 10%, my publicist was going to get 12%, which left me a whopping like 8.87. And I told him to go to hell. And I said I was going to put it out myself, and I did. And I decided I was going to leverage some type of social media to launch it and engage my audience and meet them where they are in order to get this book known and sold. So 2 years ago, it was published, and God bless you. And about a year ago, I was dabbling in a variety of social media platforms, and I ended up settling in on Facebook specifically because of how engaging it is. So a year ago in March, I had about 500 fans, and I had been doing a lot of testing on time of data post, content, voice, tone, how to engage these people emotionally. So over the next 17 months, I was able to raise that up organically from 500 to over 500,000 now as of last week, with no marketing spend, no advertising, nothing. That's why I'm up here. No. So, in addition, there's been thousands of books sold. Just to give you a round number, about 13,000 books have been sold with no form of advertising, which is pretty rare for a self-published author. And I wrote an article about 3 months ago that landed on the homepage of MSN for about 6 hours, 8 million views later. It's been optioned for a movie that I just finished the screenplay for last night, first version anyway. Producers in Los Angeles have taken a look at the page, taken a look at the book, and now I'm being looked at for a television show with me as the host. So, let's see what happens with that. Clearly there's no height requirement for TV. If we could go to the next. So just to give you the level of context, so 500,000 sounds great, right? But the real number you want is, because Starbucks has, what, 22 million? But how many of those people come back every single week, every single month? And I bet you the number's low. I'm a Starbucks fan. I'm a huge Starbucks fan. I posted my favorite drink when I joined. But I've never been back to that page. So here's the correlation for you. The red line represents the meteoric growth of my fan page. This is directly from Facebook Insights. The blue line represents somewhere between 65 to 72% of those people coming back every single month. So it's approximately an average of 68% monthly engagement and retention, which puts me at about 0.2% of Facebook pages, according to Facebook. So, last slide, please. Maybe this will help fuel some of the conversation. So, my advice to everybody out there, if you're an individual or a small business, is before you get into social media, don't. One of the caveats I tell everybody is that unless you have the time and the resources to do it for real, don't do it. It's not for everybody. The reason I've had so much success is specifically based on content, okay? So it's emotional content, it's entertaining, and it's engaging. Gone are the days where it's one-way communication like a Super Bowl ad, and you push your message out, and then you hope the community fuels it. The reason I have 500,000 fans plus is because I'm in there every single day, and my wife would tell you the same. So, it's not a strategy or a campaign. People talk about social media strategy. That's nonsense, in my humble opinion. This whole approach has been based on solid marketing strategy. Social just happens to be a venue that I'm using in order to perpetuate the message. And it is an investment into future success. Anybody who thinks it's a magic bullet, it's not. It's not. It takes a whole bunch of work, a whole bunch of resources, and time. So, thank you.
Great, thanks. So my guilt is only increasing now about what a slacker I am compared to you guys. So I'm curious about the audience. How many of you are involved in what you would call a social media company? Not that many. So a lot of you are here because you're interested in using social media as a channel to make whatever you do more successful. Yes? Yes. Yes. Okay. Got it. Well, let me then pose that question because I have sat in the middle of venture capital meetings where a lot of smart people in the room say, you know, it's sort of too late to invest in social media. You know, between Twitter and Facebook, I mean, the big guys are already there. The evil empire has in fact shifted. Remember when the evil empire was Microsoft, and then it was Google, and now it's Facebook. So my question to all of you, is it too late to create a company where the heart of the company is social media? And are there ever going to be any returns, the likes of which we're seeing now with the Facebooks and the Twitters and the others? And we can go ahead, Philo.
I've got an opinion on that. I think if you want to be the next Zynga, it's too late. I think if all you have is the Facebook game, you're not going to get a lot of interest from capitalists, funders. But I think, as most people here on the panel have intimated, you can't ignore social media. Social media has to be a part of whatever it is you're doing. But you need more than just, it's a game for people on one platform. Because the platforms are probably going to change and evolve. There'll still be social media, but the platforms will change. Like for right now, V uses Facebook a lot because the market that's on Facebook is a great overlay, for our market, which is, a heavily female adult demographic. But that doesn't mean we just rely on Facebook and Twitter. The outreach has to be, beyond that. And like what Charles was saying, yeah, outreach has to be authentic. You have to be back and forth. You have to be there every day. Or else, the consumer is king. Else they'll think they're being snowed. They'll tell everybody they know.
Go ahead, Fergus.
Yeah, so I think, it's so early yet that people put Foursquare sort of in the same category as Twitter and Facebook nearly. But Foursquare is only 2 years old, and it's so early still that people, as they were talking earlier about people leaving Facebook and stuff, the opportunity is huge, and the platform of choice is just still being established. Facebook is definitely on the largest trajectory right now. 3 years ago, Facebook was smaller than MySpace, and now MySpace is being sold for $30 million. But the platforms, Facebook is part of that ecosystem, and you need to be definitely a player with Facebook, but it's still so early in the whole game, I think. Yeah.
So it's not too late.
Yeah, I don't think it's too late either. In my opinion, I think it really depends on differentiation. I think I'm a prime example of that, where I can sit and I can write quality content, or at least perceived to be quality content, that generates 5 times the amount of fans as John Gray, who's the best-selling relationship author of all time. It really depends on how differentiated it is and how it's received in the marketplace. So, I mean, to your point where you got MySpace being sold and they were the de facto standard, especially for music and bands, and now Facebook has owned that. I don't think Google Plus has a play. I think that'll be interesting to see how they've developed that over time, and now we'll see if they can get 700 million people over to their fence. But for a differentiated offering, no, I don't think it's too late. I don't think it's ever too late.